I think when we can see each other, it makes the relationship stronger. Sometimes we have reservations about being on camera, but when we see other people, it makes us trust them more. And there's a lot that people can say physically without saying things verbally. A big part of what I do in marketing is I like to communicate to my clients, my students, anybody. It's like do video because you get to communicate those things. And me, like I have a certain personality type, and my personality type can rub people the wrong way. You might only interpret the words that I'm saying versus seeing my expressions. So I'm really big advocate on video, seeing people, me showing myself because it communicates more than just audio.
This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day, carefully crafted for you by humans. So meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, and welcome to the Philly Made podcast, the podcast where we build community by learning more about our fellow Philly friends in the business world. I'm your host, Shannon, Penji's partnership coordinator, and I'm joined here with a very special guest, Jerome Lewis, also well known as Mr. Implementation, the Chief Marketing Officer of Digital Real Estate Strategy Media. Today, we talk about how important personalization is in your approach to client communication, whether that comes to setting up meetings in person or sending a handwritten thank you note. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Alrighty. Hey, Jerome, thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. So I was very curious about, I heard about your nickname, Mr. Implementation. I would love to hear about how you got that and where that comes from.
Yeah, so I used to teach a class like every week, and at one point I had hired a coach. My coach told me to pay attention to what people were saying, and he also instructed me to come up with a nickname. So when people would come to me, I would help people with marketing, specifically I help real estate professionals with marketing. They always said, Jerome, I need help with implementation. I know what to do. I need help with implementation. I need accountability. And I kept hearing that word implementation and listening to the guidance of my mentor. He was like, you can create a nickname for yourself. And I just put Mr. on the front of implementation, and I start calling out. I put it on Zoom. You know how you enter a Zoom meeting or similar like this meeting? I put it in there and people just start calling me that name. And I was like, you know what? I actually like that. And that represents what I do. I help people with implementation. So that's the story behind that tag.
All right. Awesome. So how do you help people with implementation? Then I'm sure you get that question a lot when you get the nickname.
I do. And what I help people with accountability and implementation. A lot of people understand what to do, but they get in their heads. They talk themselves out of things. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do. And what's interesting, I had a client, I had a client this morning. I had a client call and I was talking with him, and he has an idea of what to do. Not exactly what to do, but he has an idea of what to do. And part of where I come in is I say, this is how we do it tactically, and specifically, this is how we do this. And I encourage people, I coach them, I give them the step-by-step, and I help them do it. I either do it with you. There's 3 ways you can do it. I wrote a book and I have courses, like you can do it by yourself. The second way is I can do it with you, which is like coaching. And then the third way is we can do it for you. So most people understand, somebody, especially in real estate, they have an idea of what to do. They just struggle with actually doing it. And that's where we come in at. We help people actually do the thing that they're struggling with doing. And it could be a myriad of reasons on why people are struggling with it. We clear that and we help you implement.
That's really great because I think that's the thing that people, I can understand that that's the thing that people struggle with the most. Especially you can do good work, but sometimes you just, bite yourself in the foot, and then you can't move forward from that, or you don't know where to go from that. So it's really nice to be able to focus on a very niche part of the marketing process. Okay, so could you tell us about the type of work that you kind of do on the day-to-day? Is it this marketing perspective specifically, or is it kind of a conglomerate of different things?
It is a conglomerate of different things, but I'm working through eliminating many of the things. So I'm a real estate professional. I buy houses, and I also am a real estate agent. So I'm around a lot of real estate agents that are looking to help people sell houses. So my day to day, whatever it look like is every day, my client just asked me this morning, he's like, Jerome, what time do you go to sleep? Typically, what I do is I go to sleep around 12 and I wake up about 5. So my day starts about 5. I, I only need about 5 hours of sleep. And no matter what I do, I can only I can't get more than 5 hours. So I get up and I have 1 hour to myself where I think, contemplate, and I do some stuff. I probably need to start exercising if I'm being honest. And then it's 30 until about 8, we have an active role-playing call. So it's me and it's a bunch of other agents, and we're role-playing sales and marketing situations. That's what we do. And every day varies. So just like you, I'm going to go with my Tuesday since that's one of my busier days. On Tuesdays, I'll interview podcast guests. I interview people around marketing and real estate. I interview those people. That fills out my day. And then the evening now, thank goodness, I don't have much to do in the evening. So in the evening, my time, I don't work anymore. Now what I do is I'll relax. I like to play video games. So I'll play video games, and that is how one of my days go.
That's awesome. That's also what I like to do. If you want, I got really into passive exercising lately because I work from home and I don't, I have some tips. I bought ankle weights. You just walk around your house, you're exercising, and it works out. You walk around your house, you're exercising. I have exercise bands for your legs. Sometimes I'll just sit in my chair and I'll just go back and forth while I'm, it works. If you ever find that you don't have the time, you can just do it passively. Especially if you're like a fidgety person, I'm always moving around when I'm at my desk anyway. So it's like, oh, might as well exercise while I'm moving around.
That's so helpful. And as we get off this call, I'm going to get you some ankle weight.
It's actually great. You don't even notice you're doing anything, and then your calves hurt after like a day. It's great. It really works. Passive exercise is great because you don't even notice you're doing it, but then you like kind of feel in pain the next day and you're like, oh wow, I really felt like I went to the gym. And it's fantastic, especially for busy people. So that's great. That actually, I like the idea of role playing that you said you do. I don't hear that a lot, honestly, in marketing. So what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, what that looks like, I'll tell you how I got into it. So I signed up for a mentorship program, and I wasn't having any problems with marketing. I learned marketing, signed up for a coach, and I did all of that. And then it was time to, we would call it sales. It was time to learn about the sales situations. And the coaching program that I signed up for, they didn't really have like a group of people that could like role play these different situations. Like what would someone say if I told them, hey, I'm going to buy your house, or I'm buying it for this much? I didn't have that. So I thought out like those kind of groups. I'm like, where can I find people that are like actively doing this? And I sought that out. So what it looks like is we all get together in a group every morning and we role play different sales situations. And for example, I buy houses. So one of the things that we do is we buy houses with like no money down. But if I tell people that in the real world, they'll be like, oh, absolutely not. You're crazy. They'll give me all kinds of objections. So how would I handle that? I practice that with my role play partners. So when it does happen in the real world, I know how to respond to it and I can be quick on my feet. So we role play that. We role play from 6:30 to 8. So there's about a half hour of open discussion and role play. And then we do breakout rooms individually. And each person is 2 people per room. They'll role play a specific situation that they're having, or they'll role play a sales script that they have to get out of that situation. So that's how we do it. We do it every day. One of the reasons why I attend, I'm really good at my scripts now. I started in December, but I still continue is because it also keeps me accountable. I realize that people struggle with accountability, and just me having to show up there and report to those people, it gives me the accountability that I need. So I continue to do it. I still learn stuff, but I also do it strictly for accountability as well, to bring some structure to my day as an entrepreneur.
I really like the idea of that. I said that I don't hear that really often, but I think that is an incredible strategy for sales because there's only so much you can do through coaching. But if you're practicing something regularly, it sounds like something that you would just make you more confident, because I think sales comes with that as well. It's like practicing for an interview almost.
It does. And I just want to share something. I started in December and my confidence was like terrible. Like not my personal confidence, but my confidence in the process or confidence that this was possible. And now you can't tell me anything. I'm like, nobody can tell me anything. I'm super confident. I was talking with my partner the other day and they'd be like, Jerome, what's your confidence? I was like, wait, you say it was 11. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know that was an option. So I'm super confident regardless of situations. So yeah, first, like it was 6 months where 6 months ago, my confidence was probably on a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably a 2. Now it's a 10 and I don't see it going down anytime soon. So it really
That's
helped.
awesome. So you mentioned that you've worked in both marketing and real estate throughout your career. Do you think that the skills that you learned in each of those kind of complement each other? And what do you think those are?
Yeah, so I would have to go back and I would have to go all the way to when I had a W-2 corporate job. And when I had a W-2 corporate job, I was working in the IT space. So I learned a bunch of what I thought was marketing there. I learned a bunch of IT skills and I transferred that over to marketing because a lot of marketing is handled by computers now. So that's what I did. I was doing a lot of tech stuff, which I didn't understand was marketing. But because of that, I went out and I hired a marketing coach and then I learned marketing. That's how I learned marketing. And then now once I understood marketing, I was like, okay, you get these leads and you understand these situations. What do you do next? And it's like, you have to like role play the situation. And then when I went out, I'm always seeking coaches and more information. And I started to learn, I'm like, okay, this is now sales. You understand the marketing. Now you have to understand the sales and communicating with people. And I always get a lot of feedback from people. They were like, I tell people I'm an introvert. I'm a major introvert. People never believe me because I'm so, but I am definitely an introvert. And if I could not talk to people, if I could have it my way, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would stay in the house, live on the computer and do that all day. But realistically, that's not how the real world works. So I have to get uncomfortable and outside of myself and actually talk to people.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I completely understand that. I like talking to people, but it's not I don't I feel the same way. I do think I'm an introvert. It's not that I don't like talking to people. It's actually I love doing this podcast, but I love getting to know people, but I hate being on camera. So it's super fun. If it was just audio, I think it'd be much happy. It's okay, I'm just apologizing for my Band-Aid and everything. But you never know. But the editing team is lovely, so we really appreciate them. But I understand the confidence thing. It really comes to talking to people more. And I do, that's why the coaching thing is really getting me. I really like that.
Yeah, you said like if it was probably audio, it might be, I don't know. I would challenge that. I think when we can see each other, it makes the relationship stronger. So I think personally, like sometimes we have like reservations about being on camera, but when we get to see other people, it makes us trust them more. And there's a lot that people say physically without saying things verbally. So I think that if we get to see each other and communicate, like if I were talking on the phone, you wouldn't see me doing hand movements. You wouldn't see me, like you wouldn't see my face. And like a big part of what I do, like in marketing, is I like to communicate to my clients, my students, anybody. It's like do video because you get to communicate those things. And me, like I have a certain personality type, and my personality type can rub people the wrong way. Because they might only interpret the words that I'm saying versus like seeing my expressions and everything like that. So I'm really big advocate on video, seeing people, me showing myself because it communicates more than just audio. So.
I actually completely agree with that. I think I meant more what's produced. Like I love this conversation face to face is important. I do think that I like face to face conversations better than over the phone because I think that reading people's body language does provide a lot of intel on what they're saying because I think some people can sound harsh or so and so over the phone. I know that I'm a very probably abrupt person when I talk, and I know that some people think that's rude, but I think that I don't know, I just ask people what I want to ask them, or I talk to them how I'm curious, so I ask things that I sometimes don't think about as, oh, maybe this could be misunderstood, but I think when they see that I'm smiling and I'm like, oh, I'm really curious about this, they know that I'm not out to get them through my questions.
Absolutely.
So I think personal, it adds a personal touch to your work. I think that's really important because people do trust you more when you're able to be personable with them. Anyone can kind of put on a voice over the phone, but not a lot of people can be genuine face to face. And I think that's really important in this kind of field. So would you say that for real estate marketing specifically, what would you recommend as the best strategy for outreach? Would you say the video is a really important part of that?
I was going to think, can you take a guess? But you didn't even let me. Look. Let's do it anyway. Could you take a guess?
I'm assuming video, but how do you get to that part?
Yeah, it's going to be video 100%, hands down, for sure. It's going to be video. And I talk to real estate people specifically, but I'm talking to everybody. If you're trying to incorporate, you're trying to do marketing, you're trying to increase your sales, whatever it is, do video. And my favorite strategy to recommend for people, most people, when you tell them to do video, they think about like them on some stage speaking out to 1 million people. And that's not the ideal situation. That's not the ideal scenario. So I have a friend, his name was Nick Niehaus, and he introduced me or helped me realize this strategy. And what you would do is you create videos and you talk to one person at a time. That's it. You're not going you don't have to go live. You don't have to go on YouTube or Facebook. You don't have to do anything fancy. So the example of what I coach my students to do in real estate is I tell them, go on Facebook, right? Or some social media platform. Typically it's Facebook because Facebook has a feature where you can see people's birthdays. So what I encourage them to do, I say, go on Facebook, and whoever has a birthday, you tell them happy birthday. But the way you tell them happy birthday, you tell them by video, and you send that video directly to their inbox. That's all you have to say. Happy birthday, right? And maybe you don't know, maybe you were afraid to say your name the first time. Hey, Shannon, happy birthday. And then that was it. It was like 5 seconds. But next time, I did it and I'm more comfortable when I can say, hey, Shannon, I just wanted to say happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great one, right? That's a little bit longer and you keep doing that, right? Something so basic is something so simple. It's not going to lead to business immediately, but it's doing that touch. And the more you practice what that is, the better you'll become and the more comfortable you will get with creating those videos. So you do those one-to-one videos and then you can think about, you know what? I'm feeling brave. I'm going to do one publicly on my Facebook wall and I'm going to tell people what I do as a business owner or as an entrepreneur. So I always recommend, if you want to do more marketing, yes, I do recommend starting with video. The other reason why I recommend starting with video is because there's no other Shannon out there. There's no other Jerome out there. So when I send that, that's my USP. Nobody else can be me. Nobody else can be Shannon. And that's how you differentiate and separate yourself. So I recommend video 100%. That's where I recommend people start.
I think that's a great, I love adding personality to a brand or anything that is a business. I think that adding personality is really important, especially when there's a face to something. I think that's really important to people when they just kind of see like a website and they don't know anything about it, especially when there's no people featured on the website or real people featured on the website. Then I think that adds a lot to it. So I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to what you're saying real quick. AI is like becoming more prevalent and people are way more skeptical and they're like, what is this AI? Is this AI? So if you start to humanize yourself, and I know there's some stuff out there that fake people, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you be an actual person and a human and you communicate to people. That's authentic, where companies and brands are putting all this AI stuff out there and people are like, I just want to talk to a person.
Mm-hmm.
That you separate and differentiate yourself by video.
Yeah, customer service, I get super frustrated. I'm like, they're saying yes or no, and they don't know that I'm saying yes or no because it's just some kind of voice. So yeah, everyone's human. We get frustrated when we're not talking to actual humans.
Yes, I want to talk to a person.
Yeah, I want to talk to a person all the time. So you talked about what's the best strategy for outreach. So once you reach a person and you have a lead, what is your strategy for keeping them and turning them into customers?
Why don't you take a guess?
It's a video.
It's going to be more video. So I recommend that you could come up with strategy. It depends on your industry and depends on the strategy that you're doing. But specifically in real estate, let's say somebody's house came off the market. That would mean they were selling their house at one point and then they're not selling it. And they want to sell it in the future. So I send them a video and I say, hey, I noticed your house came off the market. I'm here as a resource for you anytime you want to sell the house. And people, they sell house, like people buy or sell a house like once every 7 years or something like that. That's what it is. But what I would do is I would keep in touch with that person by video over email or text or Facebook, whatever it is that you decide. But you keep in touch with that person by video. You show them who you are, you show them your face, and that's how you do it. You just make sure you follow up. You make sure you follow up consistently. So it's the same thing. Like a lot of people, they want to set up an automatic drip campaign and stuff like that. I recommend, especially if you're struggling for business, personalize it, because that's what's going to make you different, right? You don't need to reach 10,000 people. You can reach one person and you can have a super impact on that one person. You can do another person the next day and the next day and the next day. So think about one person. Think about when I talk about video, just like I said a little bit earlier, video it's not a public speaking platform. Talk to one person. Start thinking about those individuals that you're talking to. Send them videos and follow up with them consistently. Have a personal conversation with those people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think numbers to an extent is important, but if you're not actually reaching them and making them feel cared about, then what's the point?
Better way to make somebody feel, and people know, like some people don't like to say it, but people know when it's an automated bot or they know that. We know it. People don't say it, but we know it. Versus somebody sent me a video and it's like, Shannon, hey, I really appreciate you having me on the podcast today. I enjoyed the part where we talked about video. That's customized and it's personal. You're like, Jerome actually took time and effort to send me this. Another example of customization, it's not video, but when I have guests on my podcast, I send them a thank you package. I actually sit down and I will handwrite them an extra card. Nobody else is doing it, and that's what helps separate me and differentiate. Some people are saying, oh, I don't have time to do that. If your business is off the walls, I could understand that, but there's a way you can still integrate that into your business. And when you do little stuff like that, it has a big impact. In my background, I have a thank you card here from my coach. She sent me like an award and all this great stuff for what I was doing. But you know what I appreciate most out of what she sent? It's the card. That's what I see the most. And if we can incorporate some of that stuff into our business and our messages, we'll have a much bigger impact.
I definitely agree with that. I don't love using, I have to email a lot and I don't love using templates. Even if I have to, I always try to add a personal touch to it if I'm sending out so many a day. But thanking my podcast guests is something that's super important to me. I don't like, I wouldn't, this is my job. I love doing this and I love meeting people, and I don't want anyone to feel like they were just another person that I'm talking to. I love the ability to meet new people every day. So it's fantastic. And I should feel like that.
And it doesn't take that.
It doesn't take that much. Like, yes, the personal cards is actually amazing. I genuinely, I would say that I wish I had the time for that, but I'm sure you're busy too and you still make the time for it, and that's beautiful.
Right. And there's different ways you can automate it. Like my coach was telling me one time, maybe, you're so busy at capacity where you got all of this volume. So maybe you print them out and maybe you only do a personal signature as an example. But there's still a way to integrate like a personal touch, or maybe they don't come from you. Maybe you hire an intern and you say, hey, write 100 cards for my next 100 guests. And they do it and you sign. There's different ways you can integrate that personal touch. So pick up, read up. Yep.
For now, I'm doing personal emails to say thank you, but I do love writing. That's like, I even write all my calendars down. I hate technology. It's okay. We're doing a podcast on technology right now, so I don't hate it that much, but
I was so ingrained and I loved it so much. I had to realize, like, Jerome, you can personalize some of this stuff. And I started to do that and it had such an impact.
So back to, okay, so we talked about how you turn leads into customers. Once you have a customer, how do you retain them? How do you get them to recommend you to friends and continue to use your services in the future?
You ask them, like, who else do you know? I'm in real estate. Who else do you know that might be looking to sell a house? Who else do you know that could use my help or use my services? And the key with retaining or getting referrals is, once you serve someone and they're happy, their emotions are high, that's when you ask them. Don't wait until later. You ask them right then and right there. Oh man, I wish I had my book of testimonials with me, but I got an entire book. It's 400 pages of testimonial. And the way I did the 400 pages of testimonials is I learned from my coach. When people are at their highest point of emotion, when they're excited, enthused, you ask them then. You ask them, hey, would you mind writing me a testimonial? Or, hey, who else do you know that could benefit from my services or my product? That's when you ask them. And, I'm an advocate of writing books. So I write books too. And inside of my books, I always ask, like, who else do you know that could benefit from this course, from this book, from my services? I ask them directly inside of the books as well.
That makes a lot of sense. That I understand the height of it too, because I know that people, they'll be happy that you did good work for them, but then, once it's like a month later, they're like, yeah, I don't really remember. Oh, yeah.
For more details, because their emotions are high, they can feel the experience more than it is like something that happened. It's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. They can feel and remember all that stuff. The closer it is to the actual point of high emotion.
Thank you. All right. Okay, cool. So this is now for my favorite part of the podcast is my rapid fire Philly questions.
Good.
All right. This is not a quiz. No wrong answers. Just don't recommend me a bad restaurant because I'll be so upset because I go to all of them. But just kidding. But first word when you hear Philadelphia.
Yawn.
Oh, yeah, I got that. I like that one. Okay. How do you feel about the? This is not one of the questions, but I'm curious. How do you feel about the John Morgan?
Dude, I think it was used incorrectly, but he achieved what he wanted to achieve. I do not like it, but I can't hate on it.
I don't like it, but I admire it because somehow he really did. People talk about it. I'm talking about it right now. So he did what he wanted. I can admire even evil. Okay, so what celebrity do you think of when you think of Philadelphia?
Oh man, honestly, Will Smith.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Will Smith and Rocky seem to be the most common ones so far.
Yeah, I think Smith. There's another like Beanie Siegel, but Will Smith, I think of more. Bernard Hopkins. Those are the ones that I think about. Will Smith is probably the highest.
For sure. So, favorite cheesesteak spot?
Man, favorite cheesesteak spot. I actually do not have one because it can be anywhere, like any place that's not commercial, like Pat's, Geno's, or a lot of popularity. I tend to like better than the most commercial spot.
I agree. I always get recommendations for the commercial spots. Like when I moved to Philly like 6 years ago, I would always get the recommendations for that. And anything that I've had outside of that is better. Nope, meat to that. I live in Manayunk and I'm by Delisandro's. Everyone gets in an uproar about how good Delisandro's is, but there's a place called Chubby's right across the street and I like it way better. They also have.
I was gonna say I've tried Delisandro's and it was like normal to me. It was,
a cheesesteak. Pizzazz. And Chuck also has a sign in the window that says "No boob money," and that's fantastic. I think that's hysterical. You gotta have some character too. What is one small business that you frequent the most?
There is a place. This is actually a food place. There is a spot. It's not a Manayunk, but it's a little farther past that. It's called Lucky Star, and it is I think it's Asian cuisine, and I like sushi a lot. I like what they. It's a small spot, and I enjoy it because it's not popular. It's quiet, so I go there often.
Okay. Hopefully your gatekeeping it won't explode from this podcast. It's not quiet anymore. What is your favorite place for a drink or a meal?
It's gonna be that same spot that I knew that was gonna happen. It's gonna be that same spot that I'm in for. So for a meal, it would be Lucky Star because I like sushi so much. Or I don't drink that much, so I like ginger ale. So if anybody can give me old ginger, I'm happy with that. I have a friend. His name is Mike. He come and we go to this buffet. I can't remember what the name of it is right now though, but it's in Philadelphia. It's in the Northeast on the boulevard near the Walmart. I just can't think of the name. Asian buffet. But look,
These are my favorite recommendations. I'm getting them from actual Philadelphians and not random people from my college. Moved here a couple of years ago. Whatever. I enjoyed this. If you were to, okay, so these are all some positive favorites, but if you were to change something about Philadelphia, what would it be?
I believe I would change. I would change like our neighborhood. I would like to be more. I would like us to be more clean and collaborative. I would like to clean up the place. And I don't necessarily care about what people outside of us think, but I think we need to come together and clean up. The same attitude and the same energy that we have, and being like aggressive and defensive. They said Philadelphia has the worst fan base. If we could take that energy and put it towards something productive and positive, like cleaning up the neighborhood, I would be happy with that. So that's what I would change. That's a positive thing. I would take that energy, that attitude that we have, and I would stick that attitude on cleaning up our neighborhoods and doing better as a community.
I really like that. I know that I don't even blame the sanitation crew, because I know that they're doing their best, and there's a workers' comp list so incredibly long for people in that field. It makes me so upset. I don't think it's just a lot of I think we just need to do more. There's only so much that you can do in that profession, and as long as you're collecting the garbage, you're doing as much as you should be doing. There's just a lot more on the street that isn't in a can. So I definitely agree with that. What is your favorite neighborhood in Philly?
My favorite neighborhood would be Mount Airy. A lot of my family history is from there, and it's a nicer neighborhood. I was born in South Philadelphia, so that's like a close second. But Mount Airy is more homey, and it's more like a suburban type area, so I like that better, because now I have a family. So I like Mount Airy a little bit better. I do have a lot of roots in South Philadelphia, but it's more of city-ish than Mount Airy, so I'll pick Mount Airy.
I get that. I really do. I lived all over Philadelphia since I've moved here, but I do really like living in Manayunk. I do like that I can go into Philly whenever I want. It's 15 minutes away in a train ride, but it's really nice that it's quiet sometimes. I do like that it's quiet sometimes. That never happens in the city, which is kind of nice too, because there's always something happening, which is interesting, but it's nice. Well, that is all the questions that I have for you today. I really appreciate you coming on, and I think that our audience will be able to learn a lot from you. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day. Carefully crafted for you by humans, so meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.